lots of people are talking about this. Let's get it out there. The topic is Lizzo desecrates history. So I came upon this, and you did too. Everybody was forced to look at it. Fat, disgusting Lizzo, dressed in things that highlighted how fat and disgusting she is, played a flute owned by James Madison, and then she twerked her disgusting fat ass. Thankfully, this was short. It was only like 20 seconds, and then the whole interlude was over. But very controversial. Lots of conservatives say she's desecrating history. This is grotesque. It's vulgar, right? And we'll link leftist sites that say, oh, well, why should she care? James Madison owned slaves. She shouldn't have to respect James Madison, blah, 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 blah.
Oh man.
Right? And so those are the two sides of it. Now, what do you think? You saw it.
Yeah,
You
I
had to
think
you had to
yeah,
look at her gross body.
right. Didn't wasn't my reaction just, I'm ready for China to take over, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. We're always ready for
Yeah.
China to take over.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can put a stop to this stuff.
Yeah.
But they're not taking over anytime soon. So for the next 20, 30 years at least, we have to deal with this. What are we going to do? What do we think? How are we going to cope with this as it's happening?
Yeah. I think I'm kind of past the point of caring. I think it's just
You don't even care now? Just like go ahead
yeah,
and desecrate history.
exactly. Go ahead,
Yeah.
do what you're gonna do.
Right.
Just
You become
uh,
yeah.
I'm gonna try not to watch it or be exposed to it.
Oh.
Um,
Yeah, and it's tempting for some people to become what is commonly known as an accelerationist, which means like you know this is hurtling towards a bad end, but you just want it to get there quicker because at the end at least it gets resolved. Like
I,
let's just go ahead and do more of this so it just gets towards where we're going, you know? Let's just go
it's
ahead and do
just
more of it.
uh,
It's
it's such a
disgusting. But
yeah.
here's what I will say. To give it a sort of a balanced, fair look at it, it occurred to me when I was watching Lizzo, who I'm predisposed to be disgusted by, just by her physical appearance, right? Because she's a disgusting, gross looking person. Every time she does anything, I'm just predisposed to hate it.
Wait, let me ask you
But
a quick question.
uh,
Does she actually have talent in music?
yeah, yeah, she's a good singer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And does she know how to play the flute?
she does. She actually knows.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
Right, that
that's
wasn't fake or anything.
yeah. That's
She's
positive,
not
I would
without
say.
talent. I'm not going to say that. So
Okay.
I'm predisposed to dislike her or be disgusted by her, just based on many things, physical appearance being one of them. But it occurred to me that, and this is where maybe we can sort of educate and make people understand the other side a little bit better. It occurred to me that the way we see Lizzo and the way we react to Lizzo is really fundamentally similar to the way the left reacts to Trump. Like they are just predisposed to being disgusted by this person. And so
Hmm.
whatever he does, they're just going to think it's the worst, most vulgar thing. And if we're being fair, there's a lot of stuff that Trump does that is vulgar, right? It's not
Hmm.
like he's not vulgar. He does a lot of things that are just not normal and have never been done. And, like I don't know that it's on par with playing a old flute that James Madison and then like twerking your ugly ass or whatever. I don't know if it's on par with that, but to them it is on par. It's like debasing, it's desecrating traditions. But you react to it negatively when it comes from a person that you're already predisposed to hate, that you're disgusted by. So anything he does, like let's say if he played James Madison's flute, I bet you anything the left would say, "Oh, that's disgusting. He's playing James Madison's flute. It's not
Hmm.
respectful or whatever." And then when Lizzo does it, the many people on the right say, "Oh, that's disgusting" or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
I just feel like it comes from the same place of where you just have a predisposition to be disgusted by that person.
Yeah.
And so this will help you understand, like, hey, how if speaking to people on the left, to help you understand why we're so disgusted with Lizzo, just think about how disgusted you are when Trump does anything.
Yeah.
It's the same feeling, comes from the exact same place. And likewise, to people on the right, if you want to understand how people on the left are disgusted by literally anything Trump does, even though some of it seems fairly benign. You think, why are you disgusted about that? Who cares? It's how you feel when you see Lizzo do almost anything, right? It's kind of the same feeling where you're just, I'm just disgusted by this person. And anything they do, it's just going to trigger that emotion in me. And so I think it's useful in helping the two sides sort of understand where the other
Yeah.
one is coming from. Now, of course, they'll still have arguments as to why, oh, no, well, it's different because this is not as bad as the other. That's fine. That's fine. But
Yeah.
it will help you understand the emotional place that they are coming from, where it's just this revulsion that's almost involuntary. They can't even help being repulsed by what they are seeing. And of course, they're reacting to it. I think it's the exact same, almost the exact same mechanism that's happening. And that helped, and it helped me understand people on the left when they're just so, TDS about
Hmm.
anything Trump does. I'm like, oh, you're just super disgusted by him. And it doesn't matter if, like, in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter if she played this flute? She's gonna play it. It's just gonna go back in a drawer somewhere. Um, you know, did it desecrate history? Yeah, kind of, but it's not like the Constitution was torn up or anything like that. I just had to
She could
see
have. She
this.
could have. I mean, okay. She didn't have to be dressed the way she was dressed, and she didn't have to do the
True,
twerking, right?
true.
I
And
think
in
that
fairness, Trump
if
has
she
never
hadn't
dressed
done
that
that,
way and never twerked.
yeah.
True.
But I think if she hadn't done that, for me, it wouldn't have had nearly. I wouldn't have had nearly the same negative
Yeah,
reaction.
probably. But
Like
that's
if she was
part of.
just dressed normally, I would say.
Yes, yes, but that's part of her thing. That's her, and the left would just call that part of her charm. They would say
Hmm.
that's part of her being a liberated modern woman, right? And on the other
Yeah,
side, when Trump says something vulgar and not what a president would say, not how a president would talk, the right, a lot of people on the right would excuse that by saying, well, that's just him. That's his personality.
that's true. Yeah,
He's just being
yeah.
authentic to himself. And they kind of excuse that, even though,
That
yeah,
is. Yeah,
that's very different than how people have comported themselves in the past. We can't deny it. Does
yep,
not comport himself the same way as like literally every other president. In the same way that Lizzo doesn't comport herself in the same way as like, almost any other celebrity or singer, right? We find it vulgar. It's like this new level of vulgarity. It's just sort of the same thing. And so it just helps you identify or maybe empathize with how the other side just viscerally reacts to
yeah.
this super offensive thing. And it's not always rational. Like I said, is my reaction to Lizzo rational? No, I'm just so grossed out by her, just by the way she looks and the things that she stands for. I'm so disgusted by her in general that when she does something like play a flute, I'm gonna react to it super negatively. Even though, in objectively speaking, it's not really. Is it what's really happening? She's gonna play the flute. It's gonna go back in a drawer. Nothing really happened. But I'm gonna feel a certain way about it. I'm gonna feel like, oh God, this is the worst thing I've seen this week, right? And that's kind of how people with TDS feel about Trump. He did a thing. It doesn't really impact much of anything, but you think it's the worst thing you've seen in months, right? That's how they feel. And I don't know. Is this how it's just going to be? It's just going to be like this, I think. It's just going to be like
Yeah.
this. We're going to have polarizing points of view, and people are just going to feel so disgusted, so triggered by what this really unlikable person on the other side is doing. I don't know, that's probably bad, but it helped me understand how people with TDS sort of view Trump, you know? I will still defend him. I will still say at least he's not, twerking in a thong. Disgusting. But people on the left would counter that he's doing some other gross thing that's comparable but just different, right?
Yeah. Putting ketchup on steaks, maybe.
Right, or just like not behaving the way a president should behave, or calling a country a shithole country, or something like that, right? Whereas we would just say, "Oh, he's keeping it real." Well, they think Lizzo's keeping it real.
Yep.
I mean, real to what? I don't know. some disgusting fat realness. But
So I think earlier you said that she has a good voice. Does she actually? Do you? I don't know. What about her music? Do you think it's actually? If you
I
were to
think her
try to be
music's pretty
objective,
good. Her music's not bad, I think.
okay.
I don't think it's
Actually,
the best, but I don't think it's bad. It's good
okay.
enough to be popular. Let's put it that way.
Do you listen to it at all?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But in fairness, I think it's good enough to be popular.
Hmm.
I think she writes music too, which is another level of talent that a lot of people don't have. But I just can't look at
Does
her.
her is her music political?
Not exactly. I would say it's only political insofar as it promotes, body positivity and things like that.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, well then that I would consider that political. Yeah.
Then yes, it is.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's bad music. I think it can be considered good music. I can't listen to it because I cannot stomach looking at her.
Right. Right.
Makes me want to throw up.
I like to think that if I liked her music that I wouldn't you know
You would just
allow
put it out
the
of your mind. Okay. Well, maybe
that
listen to
I
her
would
music. You might like it.
be able to compartmentalize.
Right.
But honestly, nah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no need. There's plenty of good music out there. You don't have to start listening to this land whale. It's just, yeah, just write her off. It's fine. But yeah, I think it was instructive in that it sort of opened my eyes about how, yeah, is this how the left views Trump? Yeah, I think that it is. It is, and I can see how maybe they just can't stop talking about him because they're just so scarred by having. Like, I feel scarred. I feel almost personally assaulted when people post pictures of her and I have to look at her. I feel like almost like you've done me personal harm. So I feel offended. I feel hurt. I feel wronged, and I'm kind of like on a warpath of vengeance, and it's just gonna remain that way for a while, even if Lizzo's sort of out of the public eye. I'll just be honest. That's just the way I feel about it, and that's probably the way they feel about Trump.
Okay, so I wonder, is it even worth trying to argue which one is worse?
No, because I definitely think Lizzo's worse because she's wearing less clothing. I had to
What I
see
mean,
I had to see
yeah.
her in the thong. I never had to see Trump in the thong. You never had to see him in the thong. So don't tell me that what you had to experience was worse. Now you may say, well, it's worse because he was my president, blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't care. You didn't have to see him in the thong. I had to see her in her
The thing,
thong.
the thing is, I think I'm more concerned about what is quote the truth of the situation, and I think it's
It's
definitely true
subjective.
that Trump is a crass kind of person. I don't think that can be really denied.
No.
But but Lizzo basically has mainstream media covering for her, whereas Trump had the opposite, right? So I think
True.
when people have these visceral reactions towards Trump, they have to really think about how many of them are based on reality and which
Right. Right. Right.
which ones are not.
And some
Whereas
are
with
overblown by
Lizzo,
the media.
we we were watching that video, and that pretty much
Yeah.
that says a lot. I would say the
That's
twerking.
disgusting. It's
Um,
disgusting. Okay, so enough about this fat cow.